Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar Podcast. I am talking to a veteran of working from home for 40 years. Super excited for this episode. He is the owner of Rogers Marketing LLC, but also he's got a new program called Positive Activity. Very excited to be talking about that. And what he helps people with is promotional activities, mindset, lots of other things. So we're going to get right into it. Thanks for rocking out with me today, Neil. What's going on?
Tim, rock and roll hoochie coo. Who's that?
Rock and
You know
roll
that one?
coochie coo. Oh man, that's classic rock. Who sings that?
Rick Derringer.
Rick Derringer, right on. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about your favorite rock star later, but first, Neil Rogers, are you ready to rock?
Always ready to rock, my man.
Brilliant. So we always start off here on a good note. Tell me a story of success that we can be inspired by.
Well, it's kind of a combo because it has to do with our business slash personal life, right? So we have when my son, let's see, almost now 32 years ago, my son was diagnosed with autism. And so, when we were going through all that you go through with that, which is, anger and doubt and fear and all that stuff, we also realized we got to get going, you
Mhm.
know, we got to make some things happen. And that was kind of my area of expertise in terms of being a rep. At the time, I was a sales rep, and I still am. I'm always a rep. I'm either a bartender or a rep. There we go. Those are the two. I got nothing else for you. I was never going to be a chemical engineer like you, Tim. So, anyways, so we implied some of the principles that made me successful on the road to things that we could do to make Craig's life better, and a collaborative source. So one of the things you'll find in if any of your listeners are out there and have this issue that when you're talking about school, and I'm not so certain how it is in Canada, but here in the States, they always tell you to fight for everything.
Mhm.
Well, okay, that sounds like we're not going to be friends, right? And we're
Yeah.
not going to be making, it's not going to. We chose a different path. We chose to be part of the solution. And much like we do, so what we did is we circled wagons. We created an organization that helped support the schools. So it was a parent organization, I would say akin to a PTO
Okay.
or the like up in your area. And um, and then we just built things around it. We created conferences. We had events, at least two fundraising events a year. But and people could dial in and look for funds if they if it was if the whole goal was it had to be educationally based and had to be for the greater good. So we weren't going to fund Johnny's you know laptop so he could take it home. He
Right.
had to stay in the class.
Yeah.
But the point of all that is, it's the same principles that we'll talk. I'm sure we'll touch base on it, like in positive activity or in any of the success that we had, is built on a process, and we just put together a process in each thing, and it worked. So the book I wrote is called Bar Tips: Everything I Needed to Know in Sales I Learned Behind the Bar. And the greatest compliment I got on it, and I got a lot of them. I mean, the reviews are very high, is because it's simple. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not splitting the atom here, right? Again, once again, no chemical engineering for Neil. Um, but um, but it was just this roadmap of little things that we did that just helped the whole situation. So we collaborated and we cooperated. So the guy, friend of mine came back from he stays with us on the Cape every year, oh, just off the Cape in Plymouth, America's hometown. He says, I read your book. Now the book has to do with sales, selling stuff, and all that. He goes, "Is that how you did the other stuff too?" I said, "Yep." So what we learn, all the things that we learn, and this is another book I'm in the process of finalizing, which is akin to bar tips, is you're the sum total of your experiences, right? So I mean, in those things that a lot of times when I mentor a young person, I'm telling them the same things their father,
Yeah.
mother, and grandparents told them.
Yeah.
They just weren't listening to them, you know? So that was that. So I think, it's a little mosh up there. I understand that, but I just felt it was important because, when I saw the query, I said, that's really it. When you can take what you learn in your business or your life experience and do something of value for your family, and by the way, those like him, we've been doing that now. We've uncovered many. That's just one of the laundry list of things that we did to help better the situation. We never looked for accolades. It was just like, just something that we could do because we're used to doing it. I mean, simple dot connecting people, relationship development,
Yeah.
which is what we do in business every day.
Yeah, it is.
So I would say that was, it was an interesting one. I was like, yeah, I could tell you about some home run I hit, because I stumbled over a big deal or whatnot. But I don't know, you can mix when you've got a situation like us or whatever anybody else's situation is, as they say, everybody's going through something, right?
Hmm.
And I will tell you the things I would suggest right now in this, lifetime of, life experience. Getting your mindset right is number one.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
one of the hardest things about parenting is making sure that you don't say "I told you so" when they come to the point of something that you've been telling them forever, and they finally figure that it's their idea, and you're like, "Yeah, that's a great idea."
awesome. Yeah.
Yes, do that. That's
Fantastic.
good.
Yeah, yeah. So and it doesn't end.
No, no. Well, I
I mean,
mean,
I
we did
literally,
the
I
same thing, I'm
literally have
sure.
mentored other guys, boys, and I know this guy was thinking the same stuff I was.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
This came from a different audience, that's all.
Yeah, well, and you need to hear things more than once. I mean, hey, don't you hear that in sales all the time that you need multiple connections before you actually are ready to buy something? So there you go, seven.
Seven significant ones.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's the case, then it would be the same with your kids. They hear it from you first, and it takes six more people for them to hear it before it sinks in, right?
Yeah, and I think, I know we'll probably get into it later. I think that, and as we were discussing prior, I think that's where giving this tool in this book that I'm writing, that it's a conversation tool. By the way, a lot of white space. It will not be offered on Kindle. You have to buy it. You have to write on it.
Okay.
You have to express yourself. Put the phone down and have a conversation.
Wow. Old school. So now, along with the
That's all
good
I got. I'm certainly not new school, that's for sure.
Well, along with the good note, sometimes things don't go as planned, and I really do like to talk about the bad notes as well, because I mean, as we know, many people are afraid to even start something because of they might fail. And so I'm wondering, can you share with us something that didn't go as planned and something that we can learn from?
Oh, sure. So I had a very successful run in the sporting goods business, selling athletic footwear and apparel to every sporting goods store and shoe store and bookstore here in the New England area. And when that kind of ran its course, which I would love to have done that forever, um, I decided, because I was very successful at that, I could start a computer software training company.
Hmm.
Seems to make sense, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And of course, at the time, it was a couple of years after Craig had been diagnosed, so I was still a little reeling for it, and there was this neighbor of mine at the time that was kind of a big brother situation. He's probably at least a dozen years older than me or so, I would suggest, and he was that guy that just lulled you in. And so I wound up going into business with him. I was starting this
Yeah.
thing. Oh, I could be helpful in that. Okay. All right, sure. All right, let's have everybody, right? So there's mistake everyone, everybody. Remember this, partners are for dancing. All right. So let's remember that. And then so that kind of went. So what happened was I never got to do what I do.
Okay.
And that was take a product, see who can buy it, and go market it to them, and all that. Sell it. Get the appointments. Go out and make the presentations. Do the follow up. all the things I had been doing that I was successful at.
Yep.
So we never really got a product. The product came later in some form of fashion of a CD product. It was crazy, but yeah, that one. I didn't know if I was going to recover from that one. Honestly, I was really, what did I just do to my life-ish type conversations,
Okay.
where you're just like, oh my God, well, and then, just we got back on the horse and been doing this for 30 years. So it was a couple of years which weren't fun, but you know, we made it through because guess what? We went back to our own process and started doing things the same way we'd always been doing them, the way we were successful at them.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, so that was a few $100,000 mistake.
Wow. Wow. Well, so how long did the I guess depression, I don't know what better word to use, did that last for when you realized that it was failed versus get back on the horse?
It was, yeah, it never reached that level. It was just, you know, bummed out,
Yeah.
just like, oh,
Yeah.
and embarrassed and things like that. It wasn't really, yeah, there was no contemplation of anything bad, I promise you.
Good.
But
Yeah.
and God rest, because I've had friends go that route.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I wrote a divergent path here real quick. I rode for a friend of mine who did it last year. It was a
Yeah.
cycle against suicide we did this year. But anyway, but no, it was so I would suggest that we were back whole again within 18 months. You
18
know,
months. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
because if I'm doing what I do, I'm taking other people's. I'm not creating the product, developing the product, doing the market research. What I'm saying, oh, there's the product. Who can buy this? And we go sell it. Now in our current business, pretty much everybody's a potential customer. It's just whether or not who you want to do business with.
Yeah.
So we just we choose to work with Fortune 500 companies. Because once you're in there, you can spider web through, and you might have 300 contacts from one company.
Yep. Yep. For
So,
sure.
but
Well, so 18 months, I mean, that feels like a lifetime for probably you as well. I'm wondering like what kept you moving forward from day to day so that you didn't end up in a worse situation.
the kids, the family,
Yeah.
just the drive to, we had to provide for, all of them, but we had the situation with Craig, and so it was, yeah, we just soldiered on, as they say.
Yeah. Right
Just
on.
keep rolling. And and if, as long as you get back into the groove, and then, prior to that, Lori had not been working, and she jumped in at this point. The first two kids, she didn't work, and when she did, she's just a rock star. And so she was one of the. I mean, so so let me amend my answer. It's because of Lori.
She kept you
Well, I
honest.
mean, yeah, it's like, well, she actually literally started the swag business.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and she because the interesting kind of convoluted. We were married up with two other companies. Like they were going to take our company and put these companies together, and we had this financial guy who was a little crazy, and we're going to make it a public offering, one of these low-level public offerings. So here I am thinking, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to, all that, and then of course we were all the only one that had business, we had business, but the only one that had real business was this promotional company that we wound up becoming a part of. So
Yep.
essentially, they were franchising their concept, and we wound up. I was awarded, basically awarded one, because, in the end, on the way out the door. So yeah, and then and Lori started it. She did all the initial cold calling and all that. So it's and it remains to this day the straw that stirs the drink. In all
Yeah.
honesty.
Super important who you pick as your spouse, eh?
Well, yeah, it was an unlikely pairing, I guarantee you. I'm not gonna lie there. We met in a restaurant when I was a bartender and she was a food server. But
Okay.
it was a little different. She was getting her master's in math in 5 years. I was trying to get my bachelor's in just under a decade. So
Yeah. All right on. Well, okay, so let's talk a little bit of the practice phase. So, I mean, I say this quite often is that, every great guitarist, every great musician was at some point very bad at what they did. It just is what it is. And so you gotta work at your craft. And I'm wondering, what do you have like how do you approach practicing and getting good at what you do?
Well, it's all about process, right? So
Hmm.
it's like when we're, now that we're trying to ramp up the positive activity side of it, now it's like it's a whole new market. I really don't know who's.
Yeah.
I don't know all the whats and I don't know all the wheres, right? So it's starting from jump. I just
Yeah.
turned 67. So it's like, but I'm a kid. I have no desire to stop. I am, like I'm in phenomenal shape for a 67 year old. For a 47-year-old, I am.
Yep.
So and so I stay at that. And so when we go through the process of our little process that we've been using in some form of fashion for all the years I've been selling, which is really just based in hospitality. It's the seven touches that we talked about earlier, and they have to be significant. How are you
Yeah.
going to get somebody's attention? And I believe that the algorithms changed a little bit too, because it seems like it might have jumped up
Oh,
to,
it's more than seven now. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, and I think the seven significance, you get all the social media and all the emails you want, but I mean, I'm still dumbfounded when people tell me that they're growing they're telling me that I can grow my business via email. I said, I don't look at anything I don't know from anybody I don't know. There's
Mm.
nothing I look at. I go, oh, this looks interesting. Nothing. It all goes into the other category. I mean, that's the other thing. Microsoft is even helping you in Outlook because it just goes other. And then there's junk. It's
Yeah.
other than junk. It's like, anyways. So, yeah. So, so it's, so we'll see how, but we're good. But with positive activity, it's a lot more visual. It's a lot more video. It's a lot more, we can send out messages and all those types of things. So my son who found you, he'll be doing a lot more of that stuff for us and the like. So that'll change a little bit how we do things. But we're gonna still send direct mail and we're still gonna send boxes and we're still gonna because guess what? You know what the open rate on a lumpy piece of mail is?
Oh, it's probably super high now. People don't get mail
100,
anymore.
100%.
Yeah, oh,
You put a
100%.
little dimension in something, and it's like boom, right? So we teach. That's part of one of the things that we teach in positive activity in terms of like getting new business. Do you want to stand out? Do you want to be different? Do you think banging phones and leaving voicemails and texting? Oh, I mean, who thinks texting's a good? That's like an invasion of my space.
Yeah.
I look down and go, who are you?
Yeah, I get annoyed by text messages too.
Yeah. I mean,
Like I'm
you
okay with
get you can get
email.
yeah. I mean, because you're going to ignore it anyways. But it's like, oh, who's texting me? It's like, it's like right in my, it's just
Right
right
in
in
your
my
face.
palm.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the band then. So who else do you have around you in that's making the magic happen?
So it's Lori and I, and then we just picked up, started working with a consultant in the speaking business.
Okay.
So get to find out who the what, wheres, and whys are. And then we have with our affiliation with it's called the AIA Corporation. We have access to countless number of vendors in our promotional business, always at preferred offerings, preferred pricing, preferred, service levels and all that. So that's great. So that's an affiliation that we have. The All of our local folks are people that we've built like that are going to do the printing and all that stuff. We've got that base. And then in our organization, we've got someone that does all of our mailings.
Wow.
So she does. So she, if I get a lead in, I send over, hey, Carolee, send a promo kit to XYZ, et cetera. And so it's a cool little kit we send, and you know, it's you know, it's a $50 bill to get it out the door. Maybe even more, 70. And so we have to be a little discerning on who those go to. So she manages all that, does all of our social media stuff and whatnot. And we do as much as we do market email wise because we're sending the emails to people that know who we are. And then we've got Kathleen who manages accounts for us. And all these people are, so she manages accounts, so account manager with us. And then we've got CJ, who's our admin, who's just a rock star, and he's in the Philippines.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this sounds like a pretty big operation for a work at home thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but they all work from home.
Wow.
I mean, CJ's in his parents' basement in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yet this kid is a rock star. When you talk about a
Yeah.
rock star, but it's
I
like,
love to hear
and
these. Yeah,
yeah,
this is so cool because I mean, I think that yeah, especially now, I mean, things the world has changed, but you can run a normal, business from home nowadays, whereas, I think a lot of people think that if you're working from home, you're alone, and that's it. And that's not the case. Now you can run
but
some decent sized businesses from home, right?
yeah, I mean, in our world, in our lane, we're we're decent size. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like, yeah. I mean, it all depends on who the clients, and the sad fact, one thing I'm not liking as much as I mean, I miss the personal contact.
Yeah, me too.
I really miss going to see people and bringing samples and
Yeah,
all those things. You do get to know them better. You get to know their business better. Just got to find that, and I have that's another hopefully get that hack down that where's the local coffee shop or whatever, and what can how do you present at a Starbucks or
yeah,
that type of thing, because I mean I leave here, I go to have lunch, I'll talk to anybody that'll listen,
yeah,
just to have so and that's kind of what I hope to as we build out the speaking part of our world, encourage people to do, put the phones down. I saw a great one this morning. It was a commencement speech at Bates College in not too far from you, and Lewiston, Maine. And the woman who started it said, "Okay, President Jenkins, yeah, here's my phone. You give me yours. Okay, everybody in the audience, hand your phone to your neighbor.
well,
All right, nobody's on their phones because it's not going to be on somebody else's phone, right?
no, yeah,
Right. And so it was just like boom. And I'm also hearing that this is just anecdotal right now from teachers that when they're not, I don't know what's going on up there, but down here, a lot of schools are saying no phones.
yep, there.
And some of them, I think there's a system where there's some sort of readout that shuts your phone off
Yep.
or I feel, or it shows your attendance and that type of thing. And from what I understand though, the kids are loving it. They're loving it. You know, they're
After the
not
first day.
they're not
Yeah.
yeah, they're probably moaning and groaning. It's like, oh, well, it's like I always tell a story. So this is now a while ago, probably 20 years ago or so now, maybe even more. My son was downstairs in our basement playing a video game with a kid who lived around the corner.
Yeah.
I said, no, 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 go over there. Did it work? I don't know if it, I can't remember if he did it or not, but I mean, it's like, he was a bit of a pain in the butt at the time. He's actually here right now. But it's 31 years old.
Mm.
Not living with us. He's up in BC for the holidays. But but yeah, so I mean, those are the types of things I think are going to. I mean, you got to be able to have a conversation. You know, AI is not going to do everything for you, and you're going to be happier.
I agree.
Huh?
I agree. So now you do some teaching, obviously, and I'm wondering though, like, did you ever hire a coach in your career?
No, I've been to no, I guess we've had counsel, right, on
Yeah.
certain things. When we first started up Positive Activity, we worked with a guy for a bit. And yeah, we've got, oh, I shouldn't, oh, I'm forgetting my rock stars. Teresa, she helps me on all my books, all our website stuff, all the Positive Activity side,
Hmm.
and whatnot. Helps us, Lori, too. And and so she's just another one that's just a godsend. And we have a vibe going, her and I. She prompts me on stuff on what to do here. Here's what you should be asking yourself while writing this chapter. Okay, you're right. And then I can fly through it because what it does, it gives in my mind. you know? So, but, uh, but yeah, so no, I've been fortunate enough to have some though, right? So like people, I mean, I was mentioning the guys in the sporting goods business. Now we were friends before then,
Yep.
and then because we all grew up in the same area, then I worked with them for I think 8 or 10 years, forget what the number was. And it was just it was the logical approach to things, right? It wasn't, it wasn't philosophical, or abstract.
Yep.
That's a better term, probably. It was blocking and tackling, right? It's the fundamentals. Jim Rohn, who is the motivational speaker and an entrepreneur, he actually mentored Tony Robbins.
Hmm.
Now, Tony's only sold Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, he didn't go in and out of every kitchen in Boston, in and out of every sporting goods store, or write code or whatever, which he's marvelous at what he does. But
Yeah.
but uh, but Rohn's thing was success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals. And in my world, when I give a speech on that, I call it the little things. It's the little things.
Yeah.
You know, it's the tying of the bow, a little French pastry you do for things, the little extra things you throw in, that are just goodwill. So those are the types of things I would learn from them. And then just, I remember one, I mean, I think I quote Bill almost every day. And Bill and Brian are, they're just like they're brothers, and they think the same. And whatnot. I thought very, very similarly. But as an example, as a, something you can pick up off the ground, folks, when you're out there listening, when somebody says something, they go, oh. I remember when I first started in New York, Bill would call me up. I wasn't working for him. He was just calling me up to help me.
Yep.
And one of the things he said to me was, if you tell somebody you're going to give them a poster, get them a poster, you know what you do? You get them the poster. Not talk about it, you get it, right? So I've kind of taken that and put a little, little bit extra on that. And I call it no beer plans. No beer plans are?
I,
Beer plans are the ones you make with old friends after a few beers and you go, you know what? We need to get together more often.
yeah. Yeah.
And it never happens.
No. Yeah.
So like little gems like that. Now I expound on that, and I got a whole story that goes around it where I was mentoring, giving mentor advice to a young sales guy at a sales meeting I was at in our promotional world. And he was, it was 4 or 5 day long. We had speakers, we had this, that, and the other thing, a lot of breakout sessions, yada, yada, yada. So in the last night is the awards banquet is at the Harley Davidson
Yep.
Museum
Yeah.
in Milwaukee. So we go, and you're supposed to wear something bikish. Well, I haven't got a bike. I got a black t-shirt on. Right? I got a black t-shirt with me. But as I'm leaving the trade show, because all of our meetings are trade shows, there's a guy with a dye sublimated jacket. Now, dye sub is where they take your Beatles logo and they actually they dye it into the fabric.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's never peeling off. I mean,
Yeah.
that's at some point in time that's going to wear and it's going to whatever's going to happen, right? And so it's killer. It's got all these logos all over it. So I go to the event and I'm standing this kid Taylor, who I met earlier, a young guy, wants to meet the guys that have been doing it the longest and have been successful, want to pick their brains, just like I did. So you have to pay it forward in this case. So he says, hey, Neil, that jacket, that jacket's unbelievable. I said, Taylor, I will never wear this thing again. He looks at me and goes, can I have it? So you sure can. So the night goes on. Now I got to keep it on for the night, right? And he goes off into his 28-year-old world, and I'm in my 60-plus-year-old world, and I'm in bed at 9:30, and he's probably out there, who knows what, I don't know. But the next day he's at breakfast. I bring the jacket, right? So I see him sitting over the table by himself. I walked over, had the jacket behind my back. Hey, Dale, how you doing, man? Hey, Neil, what's up? Good night last? Yeah, it was great. Awards banquet was great. Yeah, yeah. He says, I said, a lot of good stuff this week, huh? Learned a lot, did you? He goes, yeah. He says, good speakers, a lot of good content. I said, I'm going to give you the best lesson you've had all week. I took the jacket, I threw it on the table, and I said, always do what you say you're going to do.
Nice.
So, so yeah, so those guys, and other guys like Jimmy Gallahue from the food business
Mm.
taught me to always take ownership, be humble. In other words, if something goes wrong, don't go blaming people,
Yeah.
right? Don't go looking for scapegoats. How could you have done better? Nobody looks good when you do that, least of all you.
Yeah.
And if you, the customer service girl, she's high on wow, and then the guy in the warehouse, you know what they do in there, and then the guy in the, no. Solve the problem. Hopefully, the client doesn't even know what happened.
Yeah. Right
So
on.
that's the type of mentorship. Did I go to some sales conference? Yeah. I never really found a lot out of those things. You get a little jazzed up, practice, but that's when we built positive activity. I wanted people to walk away with something at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
So when I spoke to a class, a songwriting class at Berkeley, and I made sure to introduce myself as they walk through the door. Hey, Neil Rogers, I'm here to speak with you today. Notice I didn't say to you.
Speak to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, I'm going to speak with you today. And then we're going to go. I said, would you mind putting your name? I had name tags. Just write your first name, your major, and where you're from. Right.
Yep.
They put that on. And then I have, because I am in the swag business, I have these bracelets. Says positive activity on it.
Okay.
Okay, there it is right there.
Oh
And
yeah.
then
Cool.
also pen and whatnot. And I gave them that. And I just said, I want to tell you what I just demonstrated to you. The importance of a proper greeting. We got off on the right foot. You know what I'm here for. I'm going to be able to say your name. And Dale Carnegie says it's the greatest sound you'll ever hear. I'm going to know a little bit about you. And in the end, I never had to look at the name tags. And the third thing, I gave you a little surprise and delight that I think you're going to remember
Love
as
it.
part of this day. So I want them to walk away with the gems. So I teach, we are mentors. I'm not a coach.
Yeah.
Coaches tell you what to do. Mentors suggest. This is
Agreed.
this is just stuff for you to hear. I think it's worked for me. I feel better when I do this than when I don't. I suggest you might want to give it a try. And oh, by the way, here's my email if you have any questions.
Yeah. I love that. So let's move right into your guest solo then. So what's exciting in your business then?
Oh, this 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 positive activity thing has just got it
Yeah.
really jazzes me up, and I think people don't. I was with, like I said, 20 or so 20-year-old songwriters. How many of you guys meditate? One kid.
Wow.
Anybody journaling? I do a little. What was the thing I gave them it was just like, I couldn't believe they didn't know it. It'll come to me. And so there's so many of these little things that you think everybody knows because everybody's talking about it. I mean, you can't go a day without hearing about a gratitude practice, right?
Yeah.
Yet people aren't doing gratitude practices. I mean, it's 5 minutes in the morning. You can meditate. We did all of them. We did. I got them journaling. I got them. We meditated. Gave them a minute. Stretch it to start with a minute. Go to 5. You want to be TM trained like me? You can do 20. Right.
Wow.
So twice a day.
Wow.
And so we try. So all those things, and then because we know from research that, well, we didn't do the research. We did the research on the research. Happiness Advantage is a book by Sean Acor. And for your listeners out there, if you just go to the YouTube video, the 12-minute TED Talk he does, you'll want to get the book because what it said, essentially, he did research at Harvard for 12 years on happiness. And I don't know about Harvard's, but I remember hearing about, I'm sure I could find out because we probably do it in 37 seconds. But I know they put a happiness class at Yale. You can't get in it.
Really?
You can't get in it. All right. The happier you sells 37% more. The
Yeah.
happier you is 31% more productive. You're healthier. You get better relationships. Boom, boom, all the way down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And you can control most of your happiness. And oh, by the way, it's you don't get happy once you get somewhere.
Yeah.
You're happy along the way, or positive. We like to use the positive portion of it because it just so yeah. So that's the that's what jazz is me. And then if we can get somebody to do, I'll give you my little music metaphor because I've been hacking around on the piano and vocal for my whole life, right? My mother
Nice.
was a world-class musician, piano and organist. And but I got a piano when I was 33. Yeah, I dabbled in it now and then. I took some lessons here and there, but I never got into it until 3 years ago.
Okay.
64 years, 63 years old. Because I wanted to do vocal, so I was doing vocal, and my teacher said, "I understand you play the piano. You got to play and sing." Okay, how do I do that? So now I'm playing the chords in my right hand and the bass on the left, yada yada yada. And I put together a 90-day plan, right? My own thing that I tell people in positive. So this is the productivity part. So I
Yeah.
had my positive, got into creative mode, now in productive mode, and I had my practice plan every day, which would be include all the things that I'm sure you're very familiar with. It would be scales because I do jazz, the 2-5-1s because, and then there'd be circle of fifths, and then there's two vocal exercises there, another vocal, and then I play and sing the songs every day, right? And there I was, 90 days later, in front of 200 people, playing and singing Burt Bacharach's "The House Is Not a Home." And Tim, you're going to appreciate this. I got lost in my solo when I found my way home.
Wow. Right on.
I just kept on going. I was like sweating it out. I'm like going, just get back to F major. F major, you good. F major. Okay, there we are. Boom, we're home.
Nice. Well done. Well done. Good job. So then how do we find out more about your program, your business? How do we find out more?
Best is to go to positiveactivity.net.
Okay.
Everything is there, our whole contact information, etc. There is a direct link to the book. I think it's an easy read. I hope, I mean, I've seen it a couple of times on people's desks that they keep it near them because it's like the reason why I wrote it, to remind myself to do those things,
Yeah.
right? It's why we created positive activity. Now we just want to share it.
Right
So,
on.
yeah.
Right on. So maybe the hardest question of the day is who's your favorite rock star?
Van Morrison.
Van Morrison. Great choice. Awesome choice. And not for Brown Eyed Girl, I imagine.
Not even close. Please
Although that is a
stop.
surprisingly good song.
It's a great song that just gets played. Wait, here's the thing though. Every time you play it, they get up dancing, don't they?
They do, they do. It
They
works
know.
every time. And what I thought was
Just cleanse
so
yourself with Jackie Wilson said afterwards, or Into the Mystic, or although even Into the Mystic's getting a little overplayed
Into
too.
the Mystic gets overplayed. Yeah, Moon Dance is a great song too.
Yeah.
But I remember with Brown Eyed Girl, I once so just chugging around the chords, easy song, right?
Yeah.
But when you actually listen to the lead lines through that song, it is different every single time. The musicianship on that song is actually incredible. And I'm like, wow, for such a simple song, this is you know why he's so good, right?
Well, he insists. So he had there's a great series was oh gosh. Oh my goodness. It's a compilation of live albums he did over, I think, a year.
Okay.
Um, it's called, give me 2 seconds.
I'll have to look that
Um,
up too.
well, we can do it 2 seconds. So it's and Morrison's. Too late to stop now. I don't have to look it up. Too late to
Ah.
stop now. And so the funny thing about it is, it's unreal. I mean, it's got everything on it, and but it's cut and pasted from different places and whatnot. Fired the whole band afterwards. Started new.
Wow.
The boy's a little temperamental.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's musicians for you, isn't it?
But especially, he's just like, have you ever seen him?
I've never seen him. No.
Don't
Okay.
at this stage of the game. Number one, it's going to cost you way too much money because everybody's a Van Morrison fan now. I've been
Yeah.
a Van Morrison fan for 40 years,
He
you
probably
know.
won't play Brown Eye Girl.
Oh no, occasionally he'll do some, you won't recognize
It's
it.
different. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But that's fine.
I once saw Bob
Good.
Dylan once too, and he actually played. It was like by the end of the song, you're like, oh, I think that was like he played all of his songs totally different, so you didn't recognize any of them. It was the weirdest concert I've ever been to. Like I'm like, I know all these songs, but it takes me the whole song to figure out what he's doing. Right?
I know. It's
But
yeah. Well, that's what well, when you're a guru like that, I guess you got to explain. When I would tell people, like even here, here in our local town, Boz Scaggs was coming down to a new local place down here, and everybody's just like, "Oh my goodness, it's gonna be great, Soaked Degrees," and I'm like thinking, these people don't know he's a blues guy. He could do all blues and no Harbor Lights or Georgia or whatnot. I was fine with it because I'll go listen to anything.
yeah,
But it's like, I mean, Todd Rundgren was here last year. He just did at the end. He just did a little mashup of, why can't we be friends and hello, it's me and whatnot. That might have been 5 minutes. The show was 90,
yeah,
and but it was a great show. But you
yeah,
have to. I've been just so open to the whole experience now that with getting deeper into music and understanding it more, but also I just appreciate it. I appreciate anybody that can, that it's just, and he was great.
yeah.
We actually saw him with Daryl Hall. Daryl's
Daryl's
oh,
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's over though. It's over.
yeah,
Yeah, Todd blew him away.
yeah. Wow, right
Yeah.
on. So
Anyway,
this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for rocking out with me today, Neil.
I enjoyed it, Tim. It was great.
Awesome.
Rock
And
and
to the
roll.
listeners, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar podcast. As always, you can go to workathomerockstar.com for more information. Thanks again, Neil. This has been a lot of fun.